As you can see here, we have this nice stack of WindsorONE profiles that we just picked up from our lumber yard, and we're excited to get these installed and make some architectural magic. But before we get to that, there's some things we need to know first about properly storing this material. Now, no matter where you're going to be storing your material, the number one thing is you want to avoid moisture at all costs. So you're always going to want to have your material elevated off the ground. I've got these 3 saw stands set up, and when I'm setting up for a new job, I bring some sawhorses, saw stands, and I get that material on there. This is about 3 foot off the ground. You don't have to go that high, but you want to be at least 8 inches off the ground so that you're not getting into the moisture involved down there with the concrete wet from new pours, and just when rain comes in to job sites, if a garage door is not on or whatever. So a lot of times we're setting up in a garage. The only difference between interior and exterior kind of setups for material storage is if you actually have to set your material outside, not under a roof, you're going to have a tarp. You're going to have to stack your material, making a triangle just like a roof, like a gable end, and you're going to drape your tarp over that material and let that tarp shed water around your material, because like I said, moisture is the #1 enemy. So I'm going to start with my first board here, and what I want you guys to notice is that on the back of the Windsor boards they have this print that says WindsorONE.com, call Kurt for a shirt, and some other things. That personally, I always put that down, because if I'm pulling boards across my sawhorses and I'm grabbing stuff, that's the back of the board, and I don't want to deface the front of the board. I'm okay defacing the back. So if I go over here, say I need this board, and I pull it, I'm okay scuffing up that back there. What I want you to notice about this setup though, is that no matter where you look at the board, it's got a flat, just level shape to it. Like if I didn't have this middle support right here, the Windsor boards are 16 foot long, sometimes 17 on some of the casings. That board, especially when you get some weight on there, in the middle, if I didn't have this, would be sagging down severely, and we don't want that. The best way to store these boards is laying down flat. So now that we have all of our material on the stands here, you'll notice something else. I've got this organized by profile. I've got my nickel gap, crown, beaded molding, panel moldings, base, cove, and then my 1x stuff over here. This is a great pro tip, because as you're going through an install, you're going to need different of these pieces at different times, and you don't want to have a big stack and you're having to dig through, and boards get damaged that way, and it's very frustrating. So now that we're at this point, you're not really ready to install yet, because you are going to need one of these. This is a moisture meter. So if you're doing an interior installation, as we are here, you want to take this moisture meter. It has 2 prongs in it, and you want to stick it into multiple of these profiles, which you're going to use first, and make sure that these profiles are reading moisture content at no more than 8%. 8% is it for interior. Now for exterior, if you had this going up on your porch ceiling or something like that on an exterior application, you're okay with 14%. Now the Windsor boards are going to come from the mill 10 to 14% average moisture content. For an interior application, as we are doing with this, it's going to need to be in that space getting acclimated, much like a hardwood floor. You bring it in a couple weeks before install, let it get in that environment, let it adjust. That's how you're going to get the best results. So hopefully you guys found this video helpful, and that's how you properly store your WindsorONE material.